Good day, everyone. Welcome to an adaptive yoga practice. And so my name's Bobbie, and of course I'll be teaching the class today. I'm the only one in the space other than my beloved bunny Evie. And so Evie is the real thing. So you might see him hopping around at some point. And so delighted as always to have the opportunity to share yoga with you, and particularly this adaptive yoga practice. So I've been of the mind for many years that yoga is for everybody and everyone. And so the new advanced yoga is accessible yoga. And so on that happy note, I'd like to invite you to find a comfortable seat. So we'll begin. And so it's really challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And an invitation to maybe release your arms down by your sides, spiral your palms open, and wiggly fidget. So shake your hands vigorously. Wiggly fidget. And so if anything I share with you today feels uncomfortable, if even the most gentle movement it causes pain or exacerbates pain, big word for me, and always, wanting the classes to be with pain care and pain management in mind. And so my invitation would be to maybe visualize the movement, feel as though you're doing it, would be one option. The other would be, if you have pain, is to, when we're in a pose or movement, notice how it feels to back off a little bit and take a moment. Notice how that feels, and it might be that coming right out of the pose altogether and coming back into it more gently is the way to go. And lastly, it just might be not the pose for you today. And so we have good days and better days. And so I'd like to invite you to make sure that your feet are placed evenly on the floor, on your footrests. Sits bones are sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then as you're ready, if you'd like and it's available to you, reach your arm way up to the sky. And then slowly float your arm down. Gentle movement, same side, reaching up, way up to the sky. Then slowly float your arm down. So together, let's explore adding a gentle breath to the movement. Breathing in, reaching up, full length of your inhale. On exhale, release, full length of your exhale. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm face up or down as desired. And we'll begin the movement on the other side. So as you're ready, reaching up, way up to the sky. So maybe turning your gaze up towards your hand if that doesn't create tension in your neck. And then slowly float your arm down. So we can think of these movements, if you'd like, as a moving meditation, reaching up way way up to the sky. Slowly float your arm down. So as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. And then this time we'll explore reaching both arms way up to the sky. So maybe notice how it feels to have your arms by your ears, if that feels uncomfortable. Maybe exploring gold posts. So it's not about forcing one limb to do what the other is doing. We want them talking to each other. And so I'm going to choose to have my arms up by my ears today and a little closer to my ears. So an invitation to press into the palms of your hands. There's a sensitive point there. And together we can shout out, I am, I can, and I will. And with a sigh of relief, release your arms down by your side. Shoulders back and down just a few times. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. Maybe taking a moment to notice which feels better for you, resting your palms face up, or does it feel better to rest your palms face down? If you are tired, an invitation to explore resting your palms face up, open to receive. If you are feeling restless, scattered, palm face down can encourage grounding. And so ground through your feet. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. We want to keep our connection with Mother Nature. We tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones, so maybe notice where your bottom is in contact with your seat. Energy moving in two directions, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly in to release the back of your neck. And then from here, let's come into simple neck rolls. And so begin to move your head. And simple neck rolls. And see if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. And then move in the other direction. And so you might hear those little Rice Krispie sounds. Move your head as you're ready, up and down as if nodding yes. And then from side to side as if nodding no. And then when you're ready, an invitation to drop your ear towards your shoulder. Maybe releasing your opposite arm down by your side, if that feels okay for you. Extending beyond your wrist to your fingertips. And let's meet back at center. And take a moment and then drop your other ear towards your shoulder. Release your opposite arm by your side if you'd like. Extend beyond the wrists of fingertips. So hopefully feeling a nice stretch. And we'll bring your head back, center. And so let's begin shoulder circles. So rolling our shoulders forward, down and back. Soft, organic movements, nothing rigid. And so we want to keep our sense of rhythm. And then roll up, back and down. Shoulders rolled up, B and D, back and down. And now an invitation to begin to move your arms in ways you don't typically move. And so now we'll get into some of the deeper tissue in our body. So fascia has been, bunged up overnight. And so imagine that your arms are like seaweed. If that visualization works for you. Otherwise, choose another visual. And so seaweed at the bottom of the ocean. And the seaweed is making its way up towards the light. So stretch into the stretch. Get bigger in space. We tend to shrink. Then bring a gentle awareness to wherever your body's talking to you and breathe into that area. So wherever our breath goes, energy follows, flows. And then maybe moving on, noticing where it doesn't feel like there's so much going on. And so breathe into that area. And then lastly, finishing up wherever your body's still talking to you. And then slowly come on back to stillness. Release your arms down by your side. And then rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. Thighs or knees. Maybe your Buddha belly, your low belly. And notice, how's your breath? Our old friend, our breath. Notice any subtle sensations. Trust that the sensations are there. So it's not going to be a big rocket ship across the sky. So it might be a little coolness, maybe heat. And so from here, I'd like to invite you to, let's arms by yourself. Let's repose. First of all, make sure that your feet are firmly planted on the earth, not in the air, which is where mine have been most of my life, and why I need a yoga practice. And sits bones are sharp on the chair, so maybe do a little bum dance. You can even shift from side to side. Pull the buttock flesh away from your sits bones. And then sitting up nice and tall, press down through one foot and then down through the other. And so it might be an energetic pressing down. Maybe noticing is, do you feel one foot more than the other? And then from here, let's transition into a practice called finding our balance. And so the best definition of balance that I've heard to date is a quote by Matthew Sanford. And so balance is the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. Balance, the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so an invitation to maybe draw your hands in towards your hip creases. And then sitting up nice and tall. And so with, just would like to say that we are going to be with finding our balance, rocking forward and back. And so if you're someone who has challenges with your balance, so maybe a lap belt or a chest strap. And of course, if you have osteoporosis, forward bends are contraindicated, so in which case you could sit up nice and tall and visualize them. And maybe just coming forward about 20%. And so you choose, this is your yoga practice. So away we go, hinging from the hips, rock forward. So not about seeing how far we can go. We just come to that just right amount of effort and ease. Noticing that sometimes when you come into a forward fold, our chin wants to jut forward. If your chin is jutting forward, tuck it in slightly, and then rock back up. So in your own time and rhythm, I'd like to invite you to keep this gentle movement flowing. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these movements. And slowly making our way back up to a neutral spine. Our yoga belly is soft, so the area between our navel and our pubic bone, our low belly. Release your arms by your side. And then rest your hands on your thighs or knees. And take a moment to notice how this feels, that movement. And then we'll sally forward, so swaying from side to side. So I sometimes like to think of this as a tree in the wind. So gently swaying. If it feels okay for you to release your arms by your, hold on to the underside of your chair, feel free. And then slowly making our way back to a neutral spine. And take a moment and notice how this feels. And so I don't have a microphone today, so I'll do my best not to fade off into la la land with my voice. So shifting from side to side, pull the buttock flesh away, sitting up nice and tall. So in a way, when we're seated in the chair for a practice, our sits bones act like the feet of our pose. And so wherever you are in your breath cycle, take a nice inhale through your nose. And on your exhale, so you can draw your sits bones towards each other. And then release. And belly is soft, breath is quiet. And so did you notice a subtle shift in your body? And so it might be so subtle it's just apparent to you. So you might have felt a little lift in your chest, sternum, maybe not. So no right or wrong. And then from here, with hands on our thighs, wherever feels comfortable for you, let's begin hip circles, or actually, yeah, I'll call them this hip circles. And so moving forward, breathing in, and then pressing back. So you're pressing your back towards the back of your chair, your lower back particularly. And so in your own time and rhythm, keeping this gentle movement flowing. And so you might notice that if we make smaller movements, that we're perhaps working our core a little more. And then if we were to make larger circles, which they tend to get more into our hips and lower back. And so core is a huge topic of discussion, not one that I can speak to in this class very much. And then as you're ready, begin to circle in the opposite direction. And so this movement can feel strange if you're not accustomed to it. And so an invitation to move with your breath. And so imagine, or pardon me, not imagine, bring your awareness to the space in front of you. The space beside you, the space above you, and especially bringing our awareness to the space behind us. And an invitation to trust that you're being supported. And slowly come back to a neutral spine. Release your arms by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to notice how you feel. And so not about what we look like in our yoga practice. The diagnostic tool is, how do I feel? And so moving on, today I'd really like to try and see if I can get my feet into the view. And so a gentle reminder that, of course, floors are slippery. And so I'm going to move towards the iPad to adjust it a little bit. I'm also going to turn it to show you some of the yoga props that I have that can easily be replaced by a lot of things that we have in our home already, but I'll let you use your own creativity that way. But for now, shoes, so that I'm not at risk of slipping. I did have socks on, and that could be an issue. And I don't like that word issue, but oh well, it's okay. And so, actually, maybe I can bring my chair here. So I'll try to figure things out. And so, no, not working. Okay, so a few things. Of course, classic yoga mat, and this is called a sticky mat because if it's sticky, it can help us from slipping, prevent slipping. But also sticky can actually be an issue as well. If you have drop foot or a tendency to get caught up with your feet, rolled sticky mat under your feet may not be a good thing. I like to place the mat behind my back sometimes, and so it could be a yoga mat, anything that you can place along your spine. It can help counter some of the collapsing that we do in our chest forward, And so, which is really hard, as we all know, in our lungs, our heart, and so on. And also, so I'm noticing I still can't see my feet. I'll just give it one more try today and see what happens. Yay, I think I have feet. Picture. And so, success in that. And I'll just share just a couple more prompts with you. And so feet, if you're in a wheelchair and you have a yoga buddy that can help you with placing your feet on a blanket, maybe on your footrest, that can be awesome. And, or you might want to place your feet on blocks or anything that mimics a block between your thighs. Inner thighs can be helpful, and a yoga strap or any kind of belt. And so I, of course, being a yoga teacher, I do have a yoga strap, but not always. Sometimes I'm on the ferry, I live in Half Moon Bay on the Sunshine Coast, and I have to be creative. So you can put a block between your thighs and yoga strap, or maybe a bolster. But if you're using a block, the yoga strap can be helpful, and this helps create stability and allows your legs to relax. And that's the intention. So anyway, that's a lot. So I'm going to actually move these blocks out of the way for now. And I think I'm going to keep my shoes on because it helps me to see my feet a little bit. So arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits and wiggly fidgets. So shake your hands vigorously. So dance like a toddler. They don't care who's watching. Apparently that changes as they get a bit older, but as we get older. Okay. And shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. Or you might take two fingers, place them on your chin, so turtle. And then from here, placing your hands at our heart center, and so transitioning into a practice called sun breath, meditation on the heart. And so notice how it feels to have your hands at your heart center. So if this makes you lose your balance, choose perhaps placing your hands on your Buddha belly. And then on inhale, extend your arms away from you. And then bring your hands back together at your heart center, or maybe at your yoga belly. And so if you'd like, imagine the sun at your heart center. On your inhales, imagine the radiant light of the sun emanating all around you. And then gather that light and bring it back inside. So it's a symbol of the light that's always inside us. Inhale. And then if you like, join me making a humming sound like a bumblebee. Bowing your head to your heart center, inhale. Inhale. Place one hand on your yoga belly, the other on your heart center. And take a moment to maybe notice the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Remembering your intention for your practice today. And so intention is a powerful practice. And so we practice sincerely. And so I'm actually warming up, which is a good thing. That's the intention with a class during the day. So I'm going to take my sweater off and place it aside. And so let's repose. And I just need to come in again a little bit to get something off my screen here if possible. No. Oh, shoot. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so we're back. And I'm also going to set the yoga mat aside for now. And so at this time, I'd like to invite you to walk your hips forward in the chair. And so come forward in the chair about 2/3 of the way. And so if you're wanting or needing the back of the chair for support today, honor that. So yoga meets us right where we are. And so reposing, make sure that your feet are firmly planted on the earth, not in the air. Sits bones are sharp on the chair. Maybe rolling our shoulders back and down just a few times. Release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open. Inhale, reaching up into mountain pose. So arms are up by our ears maybe. Maybe it feels better to have your arms forward a little. Or gold pose. And so, whatever your pose is today, ground through your feet. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a cord on top of your head or a thread and it's pulling you way up to the sky. And then slowly release your arms down by your side. So let's come into mountain pose one more time. So it might be helpful to walk your feet forward a little bit. If you have a yoga buddy who can lovingly, of course, help you with some of the movements, guiding, but not doing the work for you. On inhale, let's come back up into mountain pose. You're taking a look between your palms, notice they're facing each other, then return your gaze on the horizon. So not looking on the floor, but on the horizon, straight ahead. And then slowly pull your arms down. Shoulders back and down. Our Buddha belly is soft, breath is quiet. Then rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And then notice, how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. And so let's come into a side bend. And so I'd like to invite you to take hold of the underneath the side of your chair, or it might be that you have an armrest. You feel comfortable with resting your forearm on your armrest, palm up or down, whatever works for you. And then release your opposite arm by your side. Spiral your palm open, up, open, and then down. Notice which feels better for you. And then on inhale, take your hand up either to your shoulder, hinging, keeping that opposite sit bone on the chair, or that your sits bones on the chair. Maybe you feel okay with reaching way up and over. If you happen to have a chair beside you, you can place your hand in the chair. Turn your gaze down towards the floor to release your neck, and then breathe into your rib cage. Can you imagine breathing in below your rib cage? And slowly come out of the pose on this side. And we'll come into it on the other side. So taking hold of the underneath of the side of the chair, maybe forearm or chair beside you. Release your arm out of opposite arm by your side, spiral your palm open, soft bend in your elbow, nothing rigid. Take your hand up to your place. So maybe up to your shoulder, maybe reaching way up and over. And so we're stretching from our armpit along our rib cage all the way down to our hip. Can you feel that you're creating space in your rib cage? And then slowly come out of the pose on this side. Rest your hands on your thighs. And take a moment to let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. And so, moving on, let's explore a gentle twist. And so I'd like to begin with hands on our thighs and gently twisting from side to side. So you might gaze softly towards the side you're twisting. So see if you can resist the urge to turn your head to its full range of motion. So keeping our head in line with our spine. And so we'll warm up. And then we'll meet back at center. And so Buddha belly is soft, or yoga belly, quiet breath. And then if you like, and it's available to you, bend your arms low in front of you. Find a space straight ahead that you can gaze on softly. That helps us to focus our mind. And then gently twist from side to side. So building on what we've done already in the class. So we're in our bodies, present, warming up, and then moving into a little more challenging movements and poses. If you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, you could bend your elbows, fingers reach to the sky. So maybe even notice, does palms face in feel better, palms face forward, and then twisting from side to side. So keeping our head in line with our torso. And so I like to hear my breath when I'm practicing particularly challenging poses sometimes. And so I'm going to inhale, exhale through my nose. And so feel free to explore that if you'd like. Slowly come back to a neutral spine, float your arms down. Whew. Shoulders back and down a few times, belly softens, and take a moment to notice how's your breath. And so our breath is one of our main teachers. It will let you know if you are moving too quickly or into pose too deep. Because sometimes when we work hard, we have a tendency to hold on to our breath. And so at this point, I'd like to just share one more quote today by Matthew Sanford. So Matthew Sanford, if you don't know who he is, he's amazing. I took an introductory to teaching adaptive yoga from Minneapolis some years ago. And so what I heard him say was you breathe, and this is yogic breathing. You breathe in a yoga pose for the spaces you can't feel. You don't just breathe for the bicep you can flex. You're trying to get life force into the spaces that you can't feel. When you do, your balance increases, flexibility increases, strength increases. Matthew Sanford, Sanford. Check him out. So let's just give our hands a little shake out again. So wiggly fidgets. Okay. So let's repose. Feet are on the ground. Sits bone sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Shoulders back and down just a few times. Tucking our chin in slightly to release the back of our neck. And then when you're ready with your hands on your knees or thighs, on inhale, begin to draw your hands in towards your hip creases. And so it might be that you feel comfortable with your hands here. Maybe it feels better to hold on to the underside of the chair. And so maybe finding a space where the wall meets the ceiling. And so be careful not to throw your head back. So you'll know your head's back too far if it's difficult to swallow. And we'll stay here for a few breaths or as long as feels comfortable. So maybe you feel okay with interlacing your fingers behind your back if you came forward in your chair. And then slowly, let's return our gaze on the horizon. And from here, I'd like to invite you to round your upper back. Drop your chin towards your chest. Belly naturally contracts gently in towards our spine. On inhale, arch. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. And so we'll repeat this movement. Lovely warm up for our spine a few more times. So rounding your back. And drawing your navel in towards your spine. And so in your own time and rhythm, an invitation to keep this gentle movement flowing. And so move in a way that feels natural for you. So it might even feel comfortable to move your feet out to the side a little to make room for your yoga belly. It's okay to have your toes turned out. So a massage for our spine. Finish up the movement that you're on. When you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Toe heel back in if you moved your feet out a little. And take a moment, notice how you feel. And so the movements of the spine. So of course we know that our spine matters. And so we've done a forward bend, a back bend, side, and twist. And so this is particularly the twists and the side bends are pretty intense spinal movements. So we need to realign our spine. And so I'd like to invite you to explore a forward fold with me. And for this, again, if you have a chest wrap, lap belt, can be helpful. Maybe placing a yoga mat tucked right into your yoga belly. You might have a bolster, a pillow, and so if possible, walk your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. And maybe forward a little bit. And take the time to look at your feet. So it's okay to have your toes turned out a little, but see if you can place your knees in line with your ankles. So when we're kind of rotating inwards or outwards, that can be problematic. And so you might have a bolster between your thighs to, just as a reminder. So sideways or this way. And so I'm going to place the bolster over here for now. And so here we go. So visualizing the movement, remembering that imagination is powerful, if you like. And so otherwise, hinging from the hips, rock forward. Take hold of the underside of the chair. Tucking your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then breathe into your lower back. And so maybe placing our forearms on our thighs, if that feels okay. And it might even feel okay for you to release your head, let it hang slightly, to release the back of your neck. Notice how you feel in the forward bend. So forward bends, if we come into them in a way that's appropriate, that works for us, and of course it's not one size fits all. Forward bends are calming. And slowly come out of the pose by pressing down through your heels. Hello, Evie. Place one hand on each near thigh, lift from your chest, your heart, chest. And come on back up, seated comfortably in preparation for a short guided meditation and your final relaxation. And actually, I think we have a little bit of time for a breathing exercise as well. And so get what you need. And I'm just going to move in a little bit. So I can adjust this a little bit more. So the breathing exercise is called 1-to-1 ratio. It's when we do our inhales and our exhales so that they're the same duration and quality. And so I'll be cueing you with the count of 3 on the inhale, 3 on the exhale. And so always sitting up comfortably, effortlessly upright. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And so this can help with our breathing. And then as you're ready, take a nice inhale through your nose unless you're congested or you have an obstruction. Exhale slowly. And we'll begin. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. So if my count doesn't work for you, maybe do a little less, so you can do lesser count or more. And if this breathing exercise creates any anxiety for you, come back to your natural rhythm. And so here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And so allow your breath to come back to your natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. Maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And so from here, a short guided meditation. And the meditation today is a curious one by Thich Nhat Hanh, so Zen Buddhist monk, beloved and by many. And so one that he shared, and so this is a meditation on anger, letting go of anger. And so find a comfortable seat, maybe placing your hands in a mudra, so hand gesture, bring your hands together. And so it might be exploring Yamaha Mudra, so that's when our thumb connects with all the tips of our fingers. And resting your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And then maybe exploring stretching or extended, keeping your index and thumbs together, extending your other 3 fingers. And then look down and into your heart, see what you can see. Imagine that you're breathing into your heart. And so the meditation goes like this. Breathing in, I know that anger is in me. Breathing out, I'm taking good care of my anger. I behave exactly like a mother. Breathing in, I know my child is crying. Breathing out, I will take good care of my child. This is a practice of compassion. And so I'll read it one more time. And so breathing in, I know that anger is in me. Breathing out, I'm taking good care of my anger. We behave exactly like a mother. Breathing in, I know my child is crying. Breathing out, I will take good care of my child. This is a practice of compassion. into whatever position you'd like for your final relaxation. And so make sure you have what you need to stay warm. If you have the ability to recline in your chair, go for it. Making sure, of course, that your head and neck is supported. You could be leaning back on a bolster with a blanket up around your ears. So if you do place something behind your head, make sure that there isn't a bridge between whatever that is and your shoulders, unless it's a nice headrest from a wheelchair. And so a little bit of weight and bolster can be lovely. A blanket for warmth and grounding. And I will sweater back on. And so naturally, the body is going to start to cool down. And I think any extreme. So yoga is not an extreme sport. So too hot, too cold, I mean, not so good. And so close your eyes softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. When we soften our gaze, it is calming for our nervous system. So you might find a spot about 3 feet in front of you on the floor. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And so not scrunching our shoulders up towards our ears, but allowing our shoulders to melt or soften away from our ears. The soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. The soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pulse. Relax your jaw and clench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. Soften between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. Silently, if you'd like, on inhale, say let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. It's challenging to quiet the mind. Sometimes placing our hands on our yoga belly and bringing our awareness to our breath can be helpful. And without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body. Thank your body again. Our bodies are the best home our mind will ever have. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. Maybe rubbing the tips of your fingers with your thumbs. And then come on up to finish up your yoga practice. And so thank you. And notice how you feel before and after your yoga practice. Questions or feedback, always love to hear from you. And so the teacher me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. You bring the intention you set at the beginning of the class back to mind, and then let it go. And so big hug and thank you to the Disability Foundation, ConnecTra, and my lovely tech host. And so I'll just hang out with you for a few moments, and yeah, we'll have a lovely, amazing day.